from where I live, and that's sort of how I imagined it got there. It's not true, exactly. It's called Causeway Road. They call me Danny Fingers, and how I got that name is the source of some contention. So let me set it all straight. I set out for vindication for my brother's lost soul after a dark and dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. I started fishing with my daddy back in 73, and I made enough from our quota. We could start a little police. I heard Ronnie had an okay violin and silver steel, 30-foot but a Detroit diesel and a hell of a keel. So we bought a boat for my brother and his own tags too. We built the traps with my daddy like my daddy used to do. And goddamn, on the first day of fishing, 9 miles from his home, my brother took in a gallon load of water. Every seam on the whole lake was a dark and dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. A dark and dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. Now my mama's still crying. My daddy took to the drink. Me, I just got angry with all the time to think. Ronnie's gonna have to meet his own maker. I'm gonna go it alone. How's my brother supposed to get himself to heaven when we never did find his bone? I got some old booze bottles loaded with kerosene, stuffed rags down the necks of them, and I grabbed some TNT. Then I drank up the courage, grabbed my Navy cut smokes to avenge the dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. A dark and dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. Untied my boat from a mooring, lit up a cigarette, came on the gas a little heavy, and I slipped on the deck. Well, as God is my witness, I never will forget that smell. A cigarette caught a bottle right on the fury of hell, and I floated through 3 Fathom Harbor, round the reserve and the wedge. The tide spit me out in the morning on the other side of Rudy's head. How long I was out for, buddy, it's hard to know. I tell you one thing for certain, I blew off my fingers and my toes. It was a dark, dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. A dark and dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. Oh, goddamn. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Now Keel's still sitting in the seaside sands. I had to give up fishing on account of my hands. Now if you're looking for a lesson when it comes to revenge, you better leave it to the ocean. She's gonna win in the end with a dark and dirty betrayal on the Causeway Road. station on planet Earth is called Seaside FM, broadcasts off of FM 105.9. It's a community radio station. It's small. It's run by some volunteers mostly. They play everything from like Perry Como to Bruce Springsteen, which pretty well covers anything that I've ever read here. I'll say this, there's no Nickelback, so that's a plus for a fellow like me. Anyways, we don't need to get into them tonight. The station was started by a fellow named Wayne Harrott, who, as the story sort of goes, as a young boy, he was fascinated by the medium that is radio. When I think about it, it's pretty magical that all that music is just floating around in the air and all the time. And Wayne dreamt of being on the radio. He got to a certain age and he studied broadcasting at a university back home. And when he went out into the world to try to find work, he was denied that by some short-sighted and frankly not terribly creative or friendly radio general managers or program directors, for the sole reason that he was born with a cleft palate that left him with a rather unique manner of speaking. So instead of becoming angry and bitter, he had a dream in his heart, and he decided that one way or another he was going to be a broadcaster. And he was going to accompany people home on their drives, to and from the office every day. So he managed to find himself some shitty old broadcasting equipment that he set up in his trailer, in a trailer park in the Eastern Passage of Nova Scotia, and acquired a 2-week license to broadcast Christmas music around Christmas of 1999. And rumor has it that the signal was shot out of his bedroom and deflected off of a frying pan, and it reached the 4 or 5 trailers in the immediate vicinity of his home. However, he made his dream come true. Now that 2-week license and the frying pan broadcasting system eventually led to a 2,500 watt radio tower that reaches sort of the far reaches of the city of Halifax, and continues to this day. Wayne passed away a couple of years ago, and when he announced that he had fallen ill, I wrote this song about him, and he got to hear it before he passed. He means a lot to me. I admire the tenacity and the tenacity like that in anybody. This is called The Voice of the Eastern Passage. It's from my friend Wayne Harrott, and it goes exactly like this. I'm listening again to the Seaside FM, where the songs roll straight off the waves. 2,500 watts, all going out hot to the back roads and lonely highways. From Roseland on back into Port Halifax, back over to St. Margaret's Bay. Playing yesterday's hits and your old favorites, your concertos and your serenades. I will not be alone while he's rolling me home, just as long as my radio catches 105.9 on your FM dial. He's the voice of the Eastern Passage. There's the voice of the Eastern Passage. Shine makes a bus for branch 164. It's a fine Legion Hall. Come on and stay tuned for your weather report. I will not be alone while he's rolling me home, just as long as my radio catches 105.9 on your FM dial. He's the voice of the Eastern Passage. There's the voice of the Eastern Passage. seaside FM where the songs roll straight off the waves. And later this hour off your radio tower comes the voice of the Eastern Passage. I will not be alone while he's rolling me home, just as long as my radio catches 105.9 on your FM dial. He's the voice of the Eastern Passage. From the moment my driver door latches, just as long as my radio catches, he's the voice of the Eastern Passage. When I was 8 or 9 years old, this is a song about a gas station in rural Nova Scotia, in case that's what you guys were hoping to hear this evening. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old, my father had a 1991 Chevy S10 pickup truck. It was turquoise. You couldn't miss it. It was the only one of its kind in Fall River, where I grew up. On Saturdays, my father would meet with his buddies at this service station to hang out around. We'd go down around lunchtime, and basically my dad would pull in with a case of Labatt's Blue in the back of the truck, and then he'd pull up onto the lift and he'd take out the beer, and he and his buddies would sit around and solve all the world's problems, and I would make the truck go up and down for 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday. I had the time of my life, equally. Inevitably, of course, my mother would phone down to the service station and say, "Get your ass home for supper. What on earth are you doing down there still?" And it was at that point that I would have to drive the truck home. It's worth mentioning that my father was a sergeant in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the federal police agency, of course, in the Great White North. He was never one to drink and drive. I thought if anything, he was being responsible. In any event, a couple of years ago, they tore that service station down, and my dad and his buddies all stood across the street while the bulldozer went through it. And I had long suspected that my father was mostly machine, like a Terminator kind of character. He didn't display much emotion unless it was anger towards me. But there are rumors that as the last wall of that service station fell down, that a single tear fell down my father's cheek, thus confirming that there is some human genetic material inside of him. So I wrote this song in an effort to sort of cheer my father up, and he just doesn't much care for it. But in any event, I'll play it for you this evening. It's called. This is called Gerald Burgess Racetrack Full Serve Auto Body. It's the type of thing that rolls right off your tongue. I'm a jockey at the gas bar on Highway number 2. I've been working here since I was 17. Get your newspaper and lotto while your tires get a rotation at Gerald Burgess Racetrack, full serve service station. Now Gordon, Snow, and Stewie stop by every morning to shoot the breeze before they start the day. I don't know what brings them in here. It ain't my pot of coffee at Gerald Burgess Racetrack, full serve auto body. body at Gerald Burgess racetrack. Full serve auto body. Now good things, buddy, don't come cheap, and cheap things don't come good. Jerry's boys will cure whatever's ailing you underneath your hood. Now there's another shop around the way, but the work they do is shoddy. Go down to Gerald Burgess racetrack, full serve auto body. It's getting close to quitting time. She pulls in for some unleaded. I say that, get out of here in 45. She says, baby, I'm in no hurry. Nothing if not patient. We'll stay in bed tomorrow. You can take a day's vacation. Forget about the oil changes and all the engine maintenance at Gerald Burgess racetrack. Full serve service station at Gerald Burgess racetrack. Full serve service station.